Errol Spence Jr. versus Terence Crawford, the rematch, will look extremely different than the first fight. And I want to give my thoughts right here on Gym Boxing. What up? What's going on, y'all? Much love, peace, and blessings. Shout out to everybody checking into the channel. Really appreciate it, man. If you are new to the channel, I invite you to subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff, man, if you guys like this type of boxing talk. Now, I want to give my thoughts on why I believe the rematch between Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford will be extremely different than the first fight. I want to give my thoughts on that, and you guys let me know down in the comments how you feel about it. Do you think it's going to be the exact same thing, or you think it's going to be different? Do you believe Terence Crawford is just too good, or do you believe something was going on with Errol Spence? Let's get right in here and talk about it. Now, Errol Spence Jr. did not look normal in the first fight. Something was extremely wrong with Errol Spence Jr. in the first fight. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, you're making excuses for your boy. And Terence Crawford, it's his era. And he just leagues in droves of head of Errol Spence. I know a lot of people are going to say that, and I totally understand it. But I'm telling you, when I see Errol Spence Jr. in that first fight, I got to be honest with you, something looked extremely wrong with this guy. He didn't look right. His legs didn't look right. He looked sick. He looked like he looked extremely tired. Like, soon as the fight started, I don't understand what it was, but I hear there's some rumors going around, and there's an interview out there where they're saying that something was wrong with Errol Spence. So I'm going to talk about that right here. But the thing that I want to get into is, you know, Errol Spence typically, in all of the past fights that he's fought in, has never really shown to look that tired that early on in the fight. I think that's the first thing that we have to get understood is the stamina aspect of things, okay? Errol Spence Jr. came out there and looked good for one round, and in the second round immediately started to look tired. And I don't think we've ever seen that from this guy, not one time in his career, from going all the way back early in his days. You've never seen this man get tired that fast. You know what I mean? And I understand some people might talk about the weight cutting and the weight drained and all of that stuff like that. Maybe should have fought at 54, or, you know, maybe he, took too long to take the fight. Maybe the car accident. You know, there's a lot of different things we can look at here as to what was wrong with Errol Spence Jr. But the first point that I want to make why I believe that rematch is going to be extremely different than the first fight, because Errol Spence Jr. did not look like himself whatsoever. All right. Now, there is an interview going on out there where I believe I seen on Ego's channel where it looks like Victor Conte was explaining that Errol Spence Jr. did something extremely stupid, and he basically, I guess got over there a week before the fight, and I believe he was training and getting some road work done up in elevation and running 5-6 miles with low oxygen. The man was up there jogging with almost no oxygen the week of the fight, getting in road work. And I don't know how smart that would be for anybody to run like that and to make themselves that tired and to deprive yourself of oxygen in those levels of environment where he was jogging in the mountains. So it just doesn't make sense to me why he would do something like that. I'm pretty sure a lot of people is getting ready to jump in the comments right now and say y'all making excuses, and I understand it. But I'm telling you right now, for the record, that I believe wholeheartedly that when they get in that ring, whenever they do, I don't know when it's going to happen, but whenever they decide to step in that ring for the rematch, I guarantee you we're going to get a much different outcome than we got in the first fight, right? So that's the thing that I'm thinking. And another thing you got to think about too is that boxing, before it's a sport, it's a business. The professional side of boxing, this is the prize fighting. This is, fighting to make a living, basically. And we understand that this fight right here, and they've already talked about it before the first fight even happened, is that they want this to be a 3-fight situation. They want this to be a trilogy that's going to go down in history as one of the best trilogy matchups that you'll see And I think that's exactly what's taking place, man. When we see the second fight, you have to just pay attention, because I guarantee you're going to see a much different fight. You're going to see a more focused. You're going to see a more, how can I say, crispy, more clean. You know what I'm saying? Errol Spence Jr., he's going to come in the ring. He's going to be more serious about this thing. And you can just rest assured he's going to be extremely sharper in the second fight. I guarantee you. Now, is there a possibility that Terence Crawford comes out here and looks extremely phenomenal like he did in the first fight and just wash Errol Spence? There's a possibility, but I'm telling you right now, I don't believe so. I don't believe at all that the second fight is going to go the way the first fight did. I just don't see it happening. And you have to imagine that it's going to be different. And most of the time that I've noticed that when I've watched, different fights throughout my, life, throughout gym boxing career, is that usually whenever fighters get in there in the second fight and the third fight, you usually see a different fight. For example, let's use Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz, for example, right? He got in the ring with Anthony Joshua. There was a little bit of controversy. It was a short notice fight where he had to hurry up and jump in there. I think Gerald Miller popped hot or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, if I can remember correctly. Andy Ruiz on short notice came in and shocked the world and whooped Joshua. And everybody was going crazy. They couldn't believe it. It was the biggest story known to man. Oh, my God, how in the world did this overweight, heavyweight come in here and whoop Anthony Joshua, who's supposed to be the #1 heavyweight in the world, and he pulled off the upset, right? We've seen it. And then what happened when the rematch happened? As soon as they got in the rematch, Anthony Joshua got focused. He came in there. He took care of business. He looked extremely, extremely sharp. Andy Ruiz came in completely different than he did in the first fight, and he got whooped. He got whooped. So I just want y'all to see that for this example, so that way when the second fight happens and this fight looks extremely different than the first fight, I don't want everybody to be surprised and looking crazy and like trying to figure out what happened, what's going on, was there some cheating or this or that. Just know that most times, whenever there's a fight, usually the rematch is going to be a lot different than the first fight. You're going to see a much different. You're going to see Errol Spence land a whole lot more punches than he did in the first fight. Excuse me, in the second fight, you're going to see him do a lot more than he did in the first fight. You're not going to see him get nearly as tired as he did in the first fight. And I don't see an early knockdown like you seen in the first fight. I guarantee you it's going to be much different when that time takes place. And I guarantee, and it's possible, Errol Spence might come out of there with a victory in the second fight. And I believe that to be the case. You know what I mean? So, is that crazy? Do you think it's crazy? Probably. But, it is what it is. Errol Spence clearly didn't look like himself. And the only thing I can say he did look like himself is that you can see that warrior and that dog spirit that he got. Even though he knew he wasn't right and he knew his legs wasn't quite under him. He knew he didn't really quite feel right in the first fight. But you still seen that dog, and you still seen him kept trying and pushing and trying. And that right there, you can tell Errol Spence is he gonna be all right in the second fight. So y'all let me know how y'all feel down in the comment section. Keep it respectful, because I know how y'all do when Errol and Terence fans get to go at each other in the sport of boxing only, and keep it respectful, man. But this your boy Get a Mic. I really appreciate everybody for checking into the video. I wanted to get in here and give my opinion on the rematch. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen sometime next year. I know PBC, they got supposedly this new deal with Prime that's gonna be happening. So I guarantee we're gonna probably be getting a whole new lineup. You know what I'm saying? And I guarantee we're gonna get that. We're gonna probably be getting that announcement sometime early next year, middle of next year, and we're gonna see what's going on with that rematch. But y'all stay tuned, man, and mark my words that it's gonna be a different fight in the rematch. Mark my words. So really appreciate everybody for checking in. This your boy Get a Mic. Much love, peace, and blessings. And I'm about to get up out of here. Peace out.